Welcome to Elevate Springfield, where we will dive into strategies and stories that help you rise to your full potential. Each episode, we'll talk about how you can take intentional steps to elevate your life and your business while making a meaningful impact on those around you. Along the way, we're going to bring in the change makers from our community that are already elevating. We'll bring the actionable strategies, you bring the discipline and follow through, and together we can elevate Springfield.
All right, let's go, Springfield. Time to 10X, time to level up. Hey, you are listening to the Elevate Springfield podcast, coming to you from the Big Dog Construction Studio in beautiful downtown Springfield. Robert Farrell here, certified 10X coach, speaker, and mentor, here to bring you actionable strategies. You bring the discipline and follow through, and together we're going to elevate Springfield. Well, hey, you are listening to the Wellness Upgrade on Elevate Springfield, where we're going to bring you specific strategies to help elevate your health and wellness. Hey, if you're not elevating your health and wellness, you're not going to be able to elevate in all other areas. This is the baseline. You know I'm passionate about it, and you know that's why I brought this segment to Elevate Springfield. We want to thank our friends over at Shudokan Karate Club here in Springfield. Sensei Dennis and his team, over 50 years in the Springfield area. Traditional karate, teaching self-discipline, confidence, community. Traditional, powerful, real. That's Shudokan Karate Club here in Springfield. Check them out. ShudokanKarateSpringfield.com. We're going to get right to our guest after the break.
When I first walked into Shudokan Karate Club, I was just looking for a way to get stronger, but what I found was so much more. Here we train in traditional karate, the real stuff, passed down through generations. Every punch, every kata has purpose. I've learned self-discipline, confidence, and how to protect myself. Not just in class, but in real life. It's not about being aggressive, it's about being prepared. This is more than a club, it's a way of life. Join us at Shudokan, traditional, powerful, real. Ki.
And we are back for another edition of the Wellness Upgrade, brought to you by Shudokan Karate Club. Hey, right here in Springfield. Fitness, community, fun, traditional, real karate. Hey, check out Sensei Dennis and his entire team out on Bradfordton Road. My guest today, you've seen him before, Mr. Kenny Hyde. How we doing, sir?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Doing great.
absolutely.
Really good.
Before we get into the topic of the day, remind everybody what you do.
So I'm a health and wellness coach. I coach about 30 people a week. I believe in one-on-one stuff, and it's all about information, accountability, and inspiration. You know, I think the reason people struggle and stay stuck is because they simply don't have anybody holding them accountable, giving them the information they need to stay on track. So
Absolutely. So it's New Year, right? So do a lot of people start with their New Year's resolutions? You know me, I'm not a big resolution fan. I don't like resolutions because I don't think they work. But do you get a lot of people that are coming to you with resolutions?
100%. Yeah. I mean, we call it a wave in the business. You know, It's a big wave to catch, and it's kind of that collective consciousness is focused on that part for the new year, new you. And, you know, I think it's good that it's at least entering people's mind. And my goal is to get people to realize this is a lifestyle. It's not something that's temporary, something flashy and shiny that is only for a little while.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, topic today, use the scale. Don't let it use you.
That's right.
That right?
That's right, man.
So what do you mean by that, Kenny?
It's a good question. I think a lot of people, one of the big reasons they're stuck is, they need to do some mental reframing. A lot of our physical health conditions are tied to body weight. And especially in female culture, there's a lot of cute sayings, you know, I'm not a number, a lot of easy ways to deflect on, you know, not taking responsibility, essentially. And so what I do with saying that, use the scale instead of being used by it, I think everything to do with that is about taking responsibility for that number, right? It's not it. It's not my weight. It's me, all 208 pounds of me, right? And so just like you've kind of taught me, the more responsibility we can take for our success, I think that responsibility and ownership is what a lot of people are struggling with. And to make this short, I think it's essentially learning things about the scale, different things that happen to us biologically, like biological laws that act upon everybody, and just building some data points on why that number is doing what it's doing every day, essentially.
So when do you recommend people, when they're using the scale, like you said, it's a data point. So when should they be using that scale? At the same time every day?
Yes. I think with scales now, there's also scanners. So you can do a bioimpedance scan on your body fat, your muscle mass. We're just talking the scale. I think first thing when we get up every morning, because we all have that sleep cycle, you're at the same level of hydration. I think that sleep just really helps control variables essentially. So I always suggest people do it first thing in the morning and kind of build it into their routine.
Right.
So
your weight can fluctuate throughout the day too, right?
Yes.
So if you're taking
One
your
time.
weight in the morning and then hey, the next day you take it at 3
Right.
p.m. or something like that,
Oh yeah,
it can be a significant change. I mean, a few
Exactly.
pounds or more
Correct.
potentially, right?
Exactly, 100%. And our stress levels, that's one that we can't even see, that can make a huge impact. And I've been a coach for 8 years. People have said to me, "Oh, Kenny, you got to be nice to me this week. I promise I've done everything," and then we find out they're under this huge stress load. And cortisol works a lot like salt. So I wanted to go into that a little bit. There's 4 main factors that really impact that weight for
Yeah.
people to start maybe gaining some momentum. Feeling more in control with that number was kind of my intent
Mhm.
with this subject. Number one is hydration. The more water we take in, the more we lose, right? To a certain point. So if you're only drinking 60 to 30 ounces, that's not even basic self-care. So I would say your minimum is around 64 ounces a day. For people like you and me who are in the gym, it's more than that,
Right.
80 to 120. So getting more consistent with your hydration. There's a difference between what we think we're getting and what we're really getting. So I would say hydration's number one. Number two would be sodium. Salt pulls water into the body. And if you're eating a lot of processed foods or eating out a lot, the sodium content alone turns us into a water sponge.
Right.
So that's where the hydration can help counteract the excess sodium. If you're having a real high salt day, drinking a little bit more to flush that out.
Flush it out, yeah.
Will help you feel more in control with that number. And then we have stress and we have sleep.
Mhm.
So those are the other two that are really important.
And you mentioned like the eating out and the processed foods. Even if you go out to eat and sometimes it's considered a more healthier, healthier option,
Yeah.
it can still be loaded with salt.
100%. I say that to my clients a lot. Usually the most healthy option on the
Mhm.
menu a lot of times has the highest amount of sodium in it.
Right. Absolutely.
Which again is just going to bloat you. So if you don't feel like you have a prayer with using the scale, just remember those 4: stress, salt, sleep, and hydration. So
For hydration, what kind of water do you typically drink?
I've got a 6-stager underneath my sink that
Mhm.
filters and remineralizes and the whole deal. But I think as long as you're taking the precaution to not drink tap water, is the ideal situation. I think a lot of the stuff that's in our pipes, they're saying there's high estrogen in that water, who knows what in that water. So I think as long as you're putting in a measure of filtering it out and even mineralizing, like remineralizing a
Yeah.
pinch of sea salt at minimum would be a good thing to do.
Why is that part important, the remineralizing? Because at my house, I've got the 5-stage system actually. So it
Yeah.
goes through reverse osmosis, but I
Yep.
don't have the remineralizing part. So I do that separately with some Baja Gold sea salt. Things
There
like
you go,
that.
Baja Gold.
Yeah.
You got
So, but
okay.
why is that important?
That's important because it gets to a point where you can overhydrate. The idea is the more water we drink, the less water we hold, right? To a certain point.
Mhm.
If you flush out the body's essential minerals, the body will do the opposite that we want it to do. It'll actually start bloating. So that's where the minerals come in. So putting some sea salt or some, like you said, Baja Gold, I think is one of the best.
Yeah, I love that.
So,
I've been using
yeah.
that for quite a while now because I think a lot of people don't realize, and I think they're starting to, is when you use a reverse osmosis system, it's phenomenal, but it
Yeah.
takes everything.
Exactly.
I mean, everything's pulled out.
Exactly. Yeah,
So-
that's a good point.
I do that every morning. One of the first things I do when I drink my water is to, rehydrate after sleep, but also Baja Gold,
Yep.
sea salt right in there, get the minerals right before I start my eggs and the whole thing.
Fantastic. I do that too. Cook
Yeah.
first thing. Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
So-
try to got to get that protein in relatively quickly.
Yeah.
For me, some people like to wait, but
I'm the same.
I got to have it
relatively quickly after I wake up, within about 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
I like to have that protein in me. If I don't, I feel it later on.
You got big arms, man. That's why.
Got to feed them, I guess. I don't
That's
know.
right.
Here we go. So you mentioned the bioimpedance scale that you have.
Yeah.
How is that different than just a regular old sort of stand on a scale?
So, like, we wake up dehydrated. So, I think that state is going to show us it's kind of taking away. We want to get rid of water. I think water is the biggest variable when it comes to using the scale as it's intended. You know,
Mhm.
you're going to kind of see where you're at better because you're removing that variable. With the scanner, you actually want to be hydrated. So it's kind of the opposite.
Mhm.
So I would recommend people who are wanting to do a bioimpedance scale, be it at a supplement superstore. I send a lot of people there. Or if you have your own device, you want to be hydrated. So I would just give it some time, make sure your urine's clear. Maybe you've had a meal, so you can get those muscles full. They're mostly water. So if you're wanting to scan your skeletal muscle mass and you're dehydrated, your skeletal muscle mass isn't going to show what it should be.
Okay.
So yeah, you don't want to do the same approach with the scan as you do. It's basically the opposite.
Mhm.
So
Well, and since it shows you your skeletal muscle mass compared to your fat and everything, especially if you're doing a lot of resistance training and picking up,
right,
lean muscle,
yeah,
then the just regular old scale number could say the same, but
Yep.
you've lost 5 pounds of fat and gained 5 pounds of muscle. Right?
exactly. And I'm glad we're going into that. I think that's why a lot of females quit because there are females who I've seen just their diet's so terrible. We changed some things. They're getting adequate protein now and they're recompositioning. So for all of you watching this, like I think the sexiest word in fitness is recomposition.
Mhm.
And it's exactly what you're saying. It's where you'll see a stall, you think you're doing poorly, but behind the scenes, magic's happening.
Right.
You're losing body fat and you're gaining muscle tissue, which is the holy grail of what you really want to achieve. So just using the scale, I would say, is for people who know their BMI is off. They might have some health conditions. They know they're overweight or obese. You want to set for like a 2-pound target every week. And that's what I would recommend, roughly a 2-pound target. And if you're doing the right things every day, you're going to feel some control over time. And if you don't, you can text me.
There you go. There you go.
Or get a hold of me.
Exactly.
I'll straighten you out. Yeah.
Exactly. So final question for you is part of that, I guess, is you said this industry, whether it be health coaching or gyms or the whole thing, they go through a rush this January, but also toward the end of January, a lot of folks are quitting.
Yep.
So what can you tell people out there right now to help them push through that time where most people quit?
I think at least setting up a free consultation with me would be a good thing to do because if you've never had coaching before, you don't know how it's going to work. I just think the accountability factor is what keeps people from, it kind of puts them in a vice they can't get out of, and the problem with the whole New Year's thing is you quit one year. What I think a lot of people don't realize is you can get good at it. That's something you can get good at, quitting. And I think that's where a lot of people are. So just setting up a free consultation with me, a free jumpstart your health call could be life-changing because you're getting yourself out of that insanity pattern where we buy the fancy new shiny thing and there's no accountability. And then we just do that every year and fall short every year.
Yeah. And where do they go to do that?
You can go to kennyhyde.com and schedule your free consultation. You can contact me 217-883-8837 and just text me. I'm all over social media, Kenny Hyde, HYDE.
Awesome. Appreciate you coming down as always, brother.
Thanks, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too and everybody else listening.
There you go. We're going to let Kenny get back to elevating Springfield. For the rest of y'all, we'll be right back.
Hey, Springfield, when it comes to reliable, high-quality roofing, you don't want to leave things to chance. That's why you should reach out to Acosta Angeli Roofing, your local roofing experts serving Springfield and surrounding communities. From quick, dependable repairs to full replacement, from residential to commercial, they are your trusted pros. Call them today at 217-993-2748 or visit their website to book your free quote and inspection. Don't wait. A little leak now could lead to major damage later. Trust the local experts, protect your home, and get peace of mind with Acosta Angeli Roofing. Well, thank you for joining us today, everybody. Appreciate you making us a part of your day. Hope you're enjoying these quick hits of actionable strategies here on the Wellness Upgrade on Elevate Springfield. Thank you again to Shudokan Karate Club. Hey, take what you learned today. You bring the discipline and follow through, and together, that's right, y'all, we're going to elevate Springfield. Be great.
Looking for expert tree care with hometown integrity? Look no further than Sangamon Tree Service. They're your trusted local pros, delivering quality workmanship, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing every time. Whether it's trimming, removal, or storm cleanup, their team brings professionalism and care to every job, big or small. Call the name your neighbors trust, Sangamon Tree Service, or visit them today at SangamonTreeService.com. Sangamon Tree Service, rooted in quality, built on trust.